In August 1979, with Mario Biaggi and others, we led a successful campaign to have a ban put on the sale of US weapons to the RUC in Northern Ireland, the Royal Ulster Constabulary, with a wicked record of human rights violations. President Carter imposed the ban. It was one of the big successes that Congressman Biaggi and ourselves had. Now, later on in 1981, the Catholic bishops, some of the top people, Cardinal Hickey, he was a regular bishop at the time, Archbishop Hickey, and a few. In 1981, when President Reagan came into power, they visited him in the White House to plead with him that he would keep in place the ban on the sale of military stuff to El Salvador. So I wrote to them and said, fair play to you boys, I support that totally. Now, would you also ask the President to keep in place the ban that Carter had placed on the sale of weapons to the RUC? Seems logical, seems reasonable. The bishops wrote back to me, in the case of El Salvador, we have been encouraged to take what action we have taken by the local hierarchy. We have not at this time received such encouragement from the Irish hierarchy on the subject you have raised. That gives you an idea of the forces we were up against. And it would have been so easy to have fought the British Embassy. Hey, that's a walk in the park. But as always, the British government had their front people. In this case, at that time, it was the Irish Embassy and the Catholic bishops in this country and the Catholic bishops at home. Gives me no pleasure to say that, but you've just heard the record. Many Irish Catholic members of Congress were blackmailed into silence, and the tactic was from the British government, thou shalt not criticise the British government lest you be seen as being a supporter of the IRA. Do not mention the torture of political prisoners. Do not mention anti-Catholic discrimination. Do not mention state assassinations, etc., etc., because you might be seen as a supporter of the IRA. And all the big names, the big Irish Catholic names, backed off. They all put up their hands and surrendered. And we had to count on Italians and non-Irish and non-Catholic members of Congress. It's a wonderful ecumenical message, but it's also a bit sad in a way. Big name Irish politicians did not lead the charge for justice in Northern Ireland. That's a historical fact. However, despite that big opposition, we prevailed, and imagine this, the moment the House of Representatives was no longer controlled by Irish Catholic speakers, Tip O'Neill or Tom Foley, the moment that was changed, we got congressional hearings. It took a Protestant from Georgia, the right-wing conservative politician Newt Gingrich, to allow the first congressional hearing on Northern Ireland. What's wrong with that picture? The big Irish Blarney guy from Boston, Tip O'Neill, Mr. Irishman, bans hearings. Newt Gingrich allows them. What was going on there? And it took a Jewish American, Ben Gilman, to hold the the first series of congressional hearings on the McBride Principles, on the RUC, and then the chairman of the subcommittee, Chris Smith, God bless him, went on to hold a total, as of last 2 weeks ago, I think there's 12 hearings on human rights in Northern Ireland. So we had Jewish Americans, we had Italians Americans, and of course then the best example of all, on one level, but not in the House, was Bill Clinton, a good old Baptist from the Bible Belt. It took him to break the hands-off policy on Northern Ireland. So I end with this ecumenical message. Don't forget it, all you Irish Catholics out there. I know everybody is a Catholic out there. But in our darkest moment, it was American Protestants and an Italian Catholic, Mario Biaggi, and a Jewish American who led the charge for justice for Catholics in Northern Ireland. God bless America.